Hello everyone. Before we begin, we'd like to pay our respects, acknowledge Dangol people in their honored nation of the traditional custodians of this land, on which we meet today. I want to thank the elders past and present for caring for this beautiful country for thousands of years. I also want to acknowledge all the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us today, or joining us from their homes. Thank you for letting us gather and learn on this land.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, as our young team member Pio and Joshi had already aptly acknowledged, I also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today and pay my respects to their elders past and present. May the connection to this place continue to inspire our stories. On behalf of Project Baakha Productions, Writing NSW, and the team behind Rajmati Reimagined, it is my immense pleasure to welcome you all to this very special occasion, the official launch of Rajmati Reimagined. I'm your host, Jenisha Manandhar, and I'm going to be hosting this event today. We gather not only to celebrate the arrival of new literary work into the world, but also to honor the creativity, perseverance, and vision that brought it to life. Whether you're an avid reader, a friend of an author, or simply here to bask in the magic of books, thank you all for joining us. Your presence makes this moment all the more special. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the invaluable support and hard work of the creative team and the dedication of every individual who has contributed to making this afternoon possible. It is our distinct honor to welcome esteemed chief guest, Dr. Bandita Mainali. Dr. Mainali is a senior lecturer in civil engineering at Baakha University. She has supervised more than 100 undergrad and postgrad students, including 4 PhD and 1 master's by research student on industry-linked projects in collaboration with councils, government organizations, consultancies, and water utilities. Her innovative teaching has been recognized with prestigious awards including the PVC and VC Teaching Awards at La Trobe University and the Dean's Excellence Awards at NGO. She's a passionate advocate for gender diversity in engineering and a champion for leadership in STEM fields. As Director of Women in Engineering at NGO, she is initiated to support and empower female engineers, fostering inclusivity and leadership in the profession. Beyond academia, she is also deeply committed to community service. She has served as a founder vice president of UTS Nephi Society, founded the board of directors of Austin Air Foundation, advisor for NRNA, and executive member of NLA. Currently, she is an executive member of NEPA and NHSA, continuing her dedication to community engagement and leadership. We are truly privileged to have her as per this milestone event. Not only has she been a steadfast supporter of our author, but she has also known her since childhood, making her presence here especially meaningful. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Mainali. I'd also like to extend a heartfelt welcome to our event partner, P Events, our supporter from Lavacha Accessories, collaborators Sparks by Supriya, Luchis by Jumbal watching us from Nepal, representatives of different media and all our family and friends who have in our presence. Likewise, welcome to the guests who are or will be watching from the home today. A few housekeeping notes before we begin. Please ensure your phones are on silent and take a moment to familiarize yourself with emergency exit. Now, to formally inaugurate our event, I'd like to invite our chief guest to the stage to light the banners marking the beginning of this celebration. Thank you for this beautiful tradition that brings life and hope to our gathering. The moment we've all been waiting for has arrived. The moment we've all been waiting for has arrived. I'd now like to invite our chief of the book's visual identity, the cover artwork by artist Joshi, and the cover designer and illustrator Shayashkar Dangol to join us on the stage for the official unveiling.
She's our young artist. And she is the lady behind the voiceover. Such a proud moment, everyone. To reveal this Rajmati imagine such a people is coming. Okay. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations on our wonderful milestone. Our chief guests have graciously agreed to share a few words in celebration for this launch, so please join me with a warm welcome to Dr. Bandita Mainali.
Hello, can you hear me? Thank you, Rick, for a beautiful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly an honor and absolute privilege to stand here today as the chief guest for the launch of Rajmati Reimagined, a beautiful work of creativity, courage, and cultural celebration by none other than our very own Jenisha Manandhar. The connection between our two families and has always been more than just friendship. It's a deep, heartwarming bond built on mutual respect, support, and unwavering love. And that is why you can see my parents are also here today, and my husband is also here today to support me. We've stood by each other through thick and thin, and watching Jenisha grow has felt like watching my own family flourish. I've had the joy of seeing Jenisha evolve from a bright young girl into the resilient and thoughtful woman she is today. I've watched her leave home to pursue her master's degree here in Sydney, a brave step that required her to leave the comfort of home and her loved ones. And I've seen her face life's challenges, especially during the health episodes she had in Sydney. With such strength, grace, and tenacity, incredibly proud of you. Her journey has not been easy, but her determination and spirit has always shone through. And now here she is launching Rajmati Reimagined, a contemporary retelling of one of the most beloved relives in Nepal Bhasa, the legendary love story of Rajmati. I think all of you are listening to the song, listening to the stories of beautiful Rajmati. But this is not just a retelling. Jenisha's Rajmati steps boldly into today's world. Her story may echo the past, but her journey unfolds on her own terms. The novel is rich in more than just romance. It's a heartfelt tribute to our cultural roots, with clever Easter eggs drawn from folks, films, and cherished Indian traditions. It invites readers to reconnect to the essence of our heritage. It's a story that explores friendship, love, and healing. And through every page, it reflects the soul of its author. That is our Jenisha, thoughtful, creative, and deeply rooted. Jenisha, I'm incredibly proud of you, as I always keep on telling you. You have taken a story from our collective memory and reimagined it with courage, imagination, and vision. You have honored tradition while boldly voicing the spirit of contemporary Nepali women. That is a remarkable achievement, and I congratulate you for that. I also want to take this moment to acknowledge and congratulate everyone who stood beside you, your wonderful parents, your beautiful grandparents, your lovely spouse, your cousins, friends, families, and everyone who is here today to support you. And of course, my dear friend Preeti. I know she's a second mother to you, and I'm very sure she's as much proud as I am today. To all of you here today, I invite you just not to read Rajmati Reimagined, but to truly feel it. Let it take you through time, emotion, and the richness of identity and culture. It is a gift from our own Jenisha to all of us. Congratulations again, Jenisha. I know this is just the beginning of more great, beautiful creations to come. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Mainali, for your thoughtful words and for all your love and support. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the person whose vision and dedication brought Rajmati Reimagined to life, Jenisha Manandhar. A storyteller whose narrative delicately bridged past and present, with words like lost letters, moving forward, and Minati's memory, she was crafted with emotional journeys that linger. In Rajmati Reimagined, she breathes fresh life into her beloved ballad, blending Nepal Bhasa and noir culture with contemporary romance. In addition to her literary achievements, Jenisha has contributed articles to newspapers, further amplifying her voice in the literary community. Her creativity also extends to the visual arts, having directed some short videos and have also been involved in voiceover roles. Please join me in welcoming Jenisha Manandhar for highlight of today's event, the first official launch from Rajmati.
This is Ilva, everyone, and very good afternoon and very warm welcome once again to the official book launch event of Rajmati Reimagined. I thank you so much for your such lovely words and kind words to me. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate every one of you being here. This is really a very, very, very special moment for me. Thank you so much. Just working. Okay, so before I start reading this excerpt, allow me to preface this with deeply grateful of the culture, tradition, and family that I get to grow up with, because it is through them I get to be here today sharing this piece of story with you all. Thank you all for being here today once again. I grew up with my grandparents who gave me everything to thrive and be a better person. My grandmother used to tell me stories about cultures and traditions. It was fascinating to hear various Baakha stories from her. She would sit me down and tell me that when you start listening to the story that I'm going to tell you now, you must completely listen to it till the end. Like, that was the rule. Otherwise, it's a sinful thing to do if you're not completing the story that I was going to listen from her. So, as in, you cannot stop in the middle or leave without hearing the complete end of it. So I think that's where I got the compulsion of finishing the story that I write and complete the story that I read or listen to. I wrote the story as a reimagination of one of the popular ballads in Nepal Bhasa, Newa language, titled as Rajmati. And after someone, we don't know the exact poet here. It was written centuries and centuries ago. And after that, somebody made it into music, somebody made it a song, and then there was a movie made out of this as well. And in every one of those stories, this has been a very iconic story, by the way, in our culture. And each iconic, every time there was a reimagination or the reinterpretation of the story made, everybody had their own version of it. And I think I kind of dared to put my own art among those great makers. But out of all those versions of Rajmati out there, what I found, whether it was mythical Rajmati or the real Rajmati, they always had a very sad ending to her life, or an unhappy ending. And I kind of didn't like that. For being a sucker for a romance, I thought I should give her the happy ending. So that's why I wrote the reimagined version of Rajmati, where she gets what every girl should deserve in her life. So this chapter is not the beginning or the end. It's quite right in the middle, and it has a hint of nostalgia in it, a hint of something we all grew up with. It doesn't discuss too much about Rajmati, but more about the things that I'm trying to include in the story. And it is kind of special, and it goes something like this. So it's not a complete chapter reading. It's just an excerpt from chapter 14. Okay. The days were warmer and longer. People were preparing for the upcoming plantation season. There is a belief in Kathmandu Valley that no kite should be flown in the sky during or before plantation season. It should only be flown during Dasai, when farming season would be over, because flying the kites was like sending a message to the god of rain, Indra, that we had enough of rain for the year. So farmers would get very concerned and critically angry if they saw people flying kites ahead of the season. They would worry that they would not get enough rain for that season. Roman and his friend, Ratna, both the age of 9 at the time, were in the middle of field flying kites. It was Saturday, so they had the entire day to themselves. Ratna lived in a different neighborhood than Roman, but on most Saturdays they would visit each other to play around, and this time to fly kites. They flew kite for an hour, trying to put each of their kite further away in the sky. After a bunch of banters and talking about kite bags, they relaxed and brought their kites to the ground. Roman took out a packet of instant fried noodle from his bag, and after putting in the spices that came with it, he extended it to Ratna. Ratna took a handful of noodles from the packet and put it in his mouth, and Roman did the same. The crunching sound of noodles filling the air After finishing the packet of noodle and a bottle of water, Roman said, "Let's fly the kite again." "I need to go home early today, so I need to leave now," Ratna spoke, gathering his items. "Already?" Roman said with disappointment. "Yeah, my house is a bit far from here, and my mom said not to be late, so I need to run," he said, packing his kite after a moment. He looked at Roman, who looked rather sad to end his day early, so Ratna said, "But how about I help you fly your kite, and then I'll leave?" Roman nodded excitedly. Ratna pulled the kite away from Roman and pushed it upward to help it catch the wind, and there it went, up in the sky again. "I will see you at school," Ratna said, and waved goodbye, taking his kite with him. Roman just waved and continued working the thread of the spool, staring at his lone kite in the bright blue clear sky. After a while, he got bored and started retracting the thread to bring it back to the ground. The kite was in the mid-air when he heard someone screaming, "Oi, kid, what the hell do you think you're doing? Flying a kite before dusk? Don't you know you shouldn't fly kites this early on?" He turned to see that there was a huge old man looking at his direction angrily. He was a bit far from him, so Roman still had time to grab his things and make a run. Soon the old man grabbed the stick from the ground and strode quickly towards Roman. He hurriedly retracted his kite and ran hastily with mud splattering all over his trousers. Suddenly, a small hand grabbed his wrist, then pulled him towards a narrow pathway that led to a small shelter. He was completely taken aback because it was not the bulky man who caught him, but a little girl with messy curls and muddy legs, holding him and helping him hold on. They heard the voice again, making both the kids flinch. Where did he go? These days, kids just don't know anything. They waited silently in their hiding spot until they heard the sound of stick thrown to the ground and retreating footsteps. They both sighed in relief, and the girl said, "I think we should wait a little before we go out again." He only nodded. "We live in the same neighborhood," she said, and he again nodded. "I'm Rajmati, by the way," she said, extending her hand. He just stared at her in shock, leaving her hand hanging in the air. She then used the same hand to wave in front of him, and when he still did not respond, she felt awkward and her smile faltered. But something in his little kid heart felt bad to see her smile, turning into frown, so quickly said, "I know, I'm Roman." When Rajmati arrived in the toll for the first time, a couple of months ago, every kid wanted to be a friend. He used to be friends with those kids, but because of Roman's grumpiness, kids eventually stopped playing with him. Since then, he only played in school with his school friends or stayed at home looking at his former friends from the window of his house. He sometimes would come at Joke, the communal area, and watch them play, but he did not have any intention of playing with them, and neither did the other kids have any intention to play with him. He had thought of talking to her once, but she was always surrounded by friends and laughing around, so he did not approach her at all. Little did he know she had noticed him and had wondered why he didn't play with everyone. As they sat on the muddy ground on the small alcove of the bridge, she asked, "Why do you not hang out with our friends in the toll?" He shrugged and said, "Because I don't like being surrounded by people." "So would you rather hang out with one friend at a time?" she asked. He nodded. "Can I then be that one friend when your other friend is not here?" He nodded. "Can I then be that one friend?" She asked innocently. "Sure," he said without smiling. But she smiled widely with one tooth missing at the front. That smile brightened her face and for some reason warmed his heart. She then extended her hand, and this time he took it with a slight, shy smile. They did not become close friends immediately, but they started saying hi to each other whenever they passed one another ever since that day. The years passed by, they grew up, and so did their friendship. As they went on to different schools and different grades, they had their own group of friends, but almost every day after school, they would meet up, roam around the toll, and if there were any jatras happening in the toll, they would always go there together to watch it. They would share their school stories, sing songs, and end up being each other's closest friend until that day when he did not come looking for her after school or to that jatra. They always went together. He seemed to have vanished, like he never existed. Thank you.
Such a captivating glance in the world of Rajmati Reimagined, and thank you for sharing the inspiration. I think I speak for everyone when I say we're all really eager to dig deeper into the book. Now, at this point, I'd like to open the floor to the audience. If you have any questions regarding the book, regarding the writing process, or anything else, you can ask the author. Just raise your hand and ask the questions. We have 10 minutes for it, so yeah, let's make the most of this opportunity.
what inspired you to write Rajmati?
I, I, I think it has to be the Newa Baakha that I grew up reading, listening to my grandma say. But Rajmati has been so iconic to all of us. And you see all these modern stories getting in the imagination. And I thought, we have so many beautiful stories at our place, at our culture. Why not rework those, reimagine those stories, give our own twist to them? So I thought I'd start with.
Thank you. I had a very good read of her book, and I really liked the way you portray talking about this bar that Rajmati was working for in Itumba, and then also about this penthouse that later she is actually residing with her boyfriend or later husband. So, how come you imagine a penthouse in Kathmandu? That was quite creative, and that was very interesting to me. So that was my person.
Thank you for that. So the reason is I wanted to create something that borrows something out of our reality, out of our geography, out of our culture, but just borrow them, not replicate them as it is. I also wanted to show what could it be, what could Nepal be like if there was really a bar right in the middle of Itumbar and is named Itumbar instead, or we have a penthouse that overlooks the city. What would it look like? So I just wanted to imagine that, give that pretentious vibe to the story, I guess.
That was beautifully presented and very creative. I felt like there is a benefit. Yes.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
So what was the idea and advice that you had giving Rajmati having instead of Dangol?
Honestly, tragedy is great, right? And there are there's tragedy genre lovers there, probably here as well. But I'm not really a big fan of tragedy. I'm a big fan of romance and happy endings. So I was not happy to see all those, the song saying how luckless she is, how she was pretty, but pretty face didn't make her pretty life. And I just wanted to change that basically.
Thank you all for those awesome questions. Don't we have any questions anymore? So moving on. No events would be complete without a heartfelt gratitude. So again, I'd like to pass the mic to Jenisha Manandhar to say her formal word of thanks.
I really hope you're not tired of hearing my voice today. Again, good afternoon once again. Can I just start by saying how amazing of a host Reed is? Thank you so much for being host for this event this afternoon. I really appreciate it. And also, I have to thank him for the lo-fi Rajmati version that you have been listening to ever since you walked into this room. So he is the mind behind that as well. And he created that one for this particular book. I'm really thankful for that. And thank you, Peony, for lending us your lovely voice for the acknowledgement of country earlier today. I am deeply grateful for the moments of life that have brought us here together and that are made for me to write this book. I feel special to see you all here, carving out the time in this Sunday afternoon and be part of this event. Your presence means a lot to me. I'm grateful that you gave this book a chance to be part of your reading journey and this event to be part of this Sunday afternoon. I hugely appreciate the time and attention you bestowed. Thank you so much for your support. This room is full of people from different parts of my life who are seeing different versions of me. My heart swells in happiness to have you all here. Our amazing chief guest, Dr. Bandita Mainali, whom I lovingly call Bandita Fufu. Thank you for honoring this event with your presence, and thank you so much for all the lovely words you bestowed on me. I really appreciate it. and my amazing team working their best to make this event happen. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Aisha, Alisha, Subash, Vidanti, Mansa, Sulav. Thank you so much for the support and stressing over all the details so I didn't have to. I really appreciate it. The entire team of Spark by Supriya, our collaborator, who is now Rajmati collection of candles, inspired from this book. Thank you. They have not only been helping me from create goodies for the book, but they also have been promoting this event with all their heart. And I'm so grateful for all that you have done. Lawata Accessories, Sally Fried, Sweet Tea, Sally Nadini, Project Vinaju. Thank you so much for the food, for social media promotion. You've been my rock and go-to person. Thank you very much. And thank you, Brutus by Shiva, our supporter from all the way from Nepal, who has been supporting us through the social media as well and helping us with the goodies. So thank you so much, Prisha, for all the support you've given me, and Nandini for watching me from home. And Prajolai, the entirety of the events, your support and creative mind always keeps me at ease. From working on this event since day one to make this event look spectacular, thank you so much. I owe it to Prajolai for making this event, decor and everything around this that you're looking at. It's all by the events. And of course, my very talented nieces, one of whom, Joshi, who I mentioned earlier, and Sia Joshi, who is also the artwork artist of my cover book. She works so hard on this, and she's very creative for a 9-year-old. So I really wanted to represent her artwork in my book, and she did a really good job. And my husband Shayashkar Dangol turned both of our artwork, my book and her artwork, into the cover design, and also by the illustration that he has drawn inside the books. Thank you so much. And from Midnight Epiphany to Tragedy of Not Finding the Right Words as a writer, my husband Shayashkar was there listening to me ramble and suggesting the word I was looking for. From creating this lovely illustration to designing this beautiful cover, beautifying both mine and Sia's art, I have my mind due to thank for. My love, when I first attempted to write a novel, my self-doubt had many times blindsided me. Thank you for always being there for me and having faith in my stories even when I didn't myself. Thank you for everything you do for me, from making videos, artworks, calming me down when I can't help but stress, working so hard to make this all happen. I'm grateful that I have you. My darling mother dearest, I guess I got the penchant of storytelling from you. I'm not as good as you are with your poems and words, but I try. I always appreciate the insight from my work and your well-versed motivation to continue writing. From helping me with book launch in Nepal and to talking with distributors, who needs a PR agent when I've got you? I'm grateful to have someone like you as my mother. And my dearest father, on whose eyes I see the proud glimmer, thank you for always encouraging me with the right words and believing in my dreams, supporting them no matter what. I've always appreciated the way you believed in me and told me I could pursue whatever the dream I chose. My grandparents, who always believed in me and shared me those stories about culture, thank you so much. And also I dedicated my book to my grandmother, who I grew up with, and because it's all thanks to her that I fell in love with the stories in the first place. And the family I was born into, the family that raised me, the family that I married into, and the family I made in this beautiful city, Sydney, that I now call my home. Thank you so much for your love, patience, and belief in my dreams. Thank you so much for everything, and just for being in my life. Your constant support and belief you have in me always puts me at awe of how lucky I am to be part of this wholesome, incredible, big family. Thank you for encouraging me and being curious of what I would write next. Thank you for helping me with the shenanigans, the way my books made it to your bookshelf, the way you read, the way you ask me about my stories and motivate me to write them. I deeply appreciate it. You have been a pillar of strength to me. Writing NSW team, thank you so much for the venue and all the support you've given us to make this event successful. Thank you, City of Kathmandu, for the stories, and Sydney, the city I have fallen in love. Thank you for helping me find the lost me. This woman, this author, this daughter, this sister, this friend, this human being is utterly and immensely grateful. For my imagination to soar and for it to come in form of words to tell a story, I have you all to thank for. I'm deeply grateful for your unwavering support and encouragement. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a very lovely rest of the day. And I'll let Rick give you the rest of the information. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those warm and moving words. Now, before we move on to closing, we'd like to honor our wonderful supporters with a special token of love. May I now request Jenisha and director Shayashkar Dangol to come up on stage. Firstly, I'd like to call upon Chief Guest to receive her token of love. I would now like to call upon Director of Low-Wash Accessories and Satisfied Suite, Mrs. Salina Dangol Joshi. I'd now like to call Mrs. Supriya Shrestha, Creator and Director of Spots by Supriya, on the stage. Furthermore, I'd like to call Mr. Prajol Shrestha, today's event stylist and director of the event. Those now open to book signing and informal meeting. Take this chance to chat with the author, connect with fellow readers, and enjoy the afternoon. In closing, on behalf of the entire team, thank you once again for your presence and your enthusiasm. We hope Rajmati Reimagined finds special gifts on your shelves of your hearts, and spark new conversations, spark fresh ideas, and mind loss, all of the power of the words. It's been a pleasure hosting. Travel home safely, keep reading, and have a wonderful rest of the evening. Thank you.